You don't need a spreadsheet. You don't need an app. You don't need to pretend you understand cryptocurrency or index funds. What you need is $5,000 sitting in an account that you don't touch. And I'm going to show you the laziest possible way to get there if you're a freelancer, a tradesperson, or someone who's starting late and got a regular income coming in. If this resonates with you, hit subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from, and the algorithm loves it when you do. Let me be clear first, this is not financial advice. These are proven strategies that actual people have used to build a Jumpstart fund without losing their minds to spreadsheets. The beauty of this method is that it doesn't require discipline in the traditional sense. It requires something simpler, indifference. Here's the core idea. Every time money lands in your account, whether it's a project payment, a job completion, a side gig, you're going to move a percentage of it immediately to a separate account. Not a savings account at your main bank, a completely different bank. Something you don't see when you log in to pay your bills. Out of sight, out of mind, out of the temptation zone. The percentage doesn't matter as much as you think it does. You don't need to save 20% or 15% or even 10%. Start with 5%. If you make $500 on a gig, move $25. That's it. No math required. Your phone can do it. Most banks have an automated transfer feature. Set it and forget it. Why 5%? Because it's invisible. You won't feel it. You'll still have $475 to spend, to pay rent, to eat, to live your life. The goal here is to build a habit so effortless that you stop noticing it's happening. That's the lazy part. That's the part that actually works. Now, let's talk about time. If you're earning a regular income, you might be thinking this will take years. It won't. Let's do some real math. If you're a freelancer making an average of $2,000 a month, 5% is $100. In 50 months, you hit $5,000. That's just over 4 years. But most people aren't actually making a consistent $2,000. Some months you get 3 jobs, some months you get 1. That's why averaging matters. Here's where the strategy gets interesting. Every 3 months, increase your percentage by 1%. After 3 months, go to 6%. After 6 months, go to 7%. After 9 months, go to 8%. You're barely noticing these tiny bumps, but they compound. Your 5,000 target suddenly doesn't feel so far away. You're not white-knuckling your way through a budget. You're just adjusting a number on an app, once per quarter. The second secret is automation. Don't rely on yourself to remember to transfer money. That's where most people fail. They tell themselves they'll move it manually, and then life happens. A client pays late. A car repair comes up. Suddenly the money is spent, and you never moved it. Instead, set up an automatic transfer the moment money hits your main account. Make it a rule of the system, not a rule of your willpower. Your phone does the heavy lifting. You just live. The third secret is invisibility. This is critical. Open the account at a different bank. Don't link it to your debit card. Don't put the app on your phone home screen. You're creating friction between you and that money on purpose. When $5,000 is sitting in an account you don't think about, you stop treating it like spending money. It becomes real. It becomes a tool. Now, what about the temptation to dip into it? That's the whole point of the other bank. You can access it if it's a genuine emergency, but getting to it takes effort. We'll have to log into a website, wait for transfers, deal with friction. Most of the time, that friction is enough. You'll solve the problem another way, because it's easier. Here's something most people miss. You don't have to hit 5,000 and stop. Once you do, you keep the system running. Now you're building 10,000, then 15. You're not following a budget. You're not tracking categories. You're just letting a tiny percentage compound month after month, year after year. Before you realize it, you have real money. Money that changes your options. Money that lets you take time between projects. Money that lets you say no to bad clients. That's the Jumpstart. The lazy person's advantage is that you're working with human nature instead of against it. You're not trying to be disciplined. You're trying to be indifferent. You're not checking your savings account obsessively. You're not gamifying it or competing with yourself. You're just letting the system work while you do your actual job and live your actual life. One more thing. Track it, but don't obsess over it. Once every 6 months, log in and see the number. That's it. You don't need to watch it grow every week. You don't need a spreadsheet with charts and projections. You just need to know it's there, and it's bigger than it was last time. This works for late starters, because you don't need perfect income history. You don't need a stable job. You just need irregular payments coming in, and you need to catch a small piece of them before they disappear. Freelancers, contractors, gig workers, side hustlers, people with commission-based income, anyone whose paycheck isn't guaranteed, this is your play. $5,000 isn't a lot of money in the grand scheme of life, but it's a psychological threshold. It's the difference between having nothing and having a jumpstart. It's the difference between being trapped and having options. And you can get there without a single spreadsheet, without an app notification, without feeling like you're sacrificing anything. So here's your challenge. Open that second account this week. Set up the automatic transfer for 5%. Forget about it. In less than 4 years, you'll have more financial breathing room than you have right now. And you did it by being lazy about it. If you found this useful, subscribe to the channel. We're building strategies for people with irregular income, people who don't fit the traditional financial advice mold, and people who just want to keep things simple.